Being in that position, I was just ready. I was ready for everything. I'm a very much of the person and the wrestler to take every opportunity I can. A lot of people tell me not to take every booking that I can get, but also a lot of people have told me to take every booking I can get. And I just think like, what's gonna hurt if I don't take? Like, what's gonna hurt if I do take this booking? You know what I mean? Like, if I have nothing else going on that day, why not take the booking? Why not get my reps in? Why not spread my name in other places? Who cares if the place is 10 people? Who cares if the place is 15 people? That's how places start. And even if it doesn't get built from that, that's 10, 15 people that possibly are going to learn who I am today.
And welcome to another episode of the second release this week here on the Project Get to Know podcast. My name is Emmanuel, and if you've wandered onto this episode, whether it's shared by our guest this week, or if the algorithms of all streaming platforms winds up in your feed, don't forget to subscribe to wherever streaming platform you're on, comment, like, share, that whole spiel. We have the youngest guest that I've had on this podcast. We have Brock Ali here on the program. Thank you so much for having you on.
Thank you so much for having me. This is an honor. I'm very happy for this. I'm very excited. Cannot wait.
Yeah, because you're 17. That one, because there are some wrestlers to wrestle at that age. What made you do the jump to wrestling, being at that age? And you're still trying to figure out life, but like wrestling has been one of those entryways for you to figure out your life as a person.
Right. Now, I started when I was 14 years old. That's when I started training.
Wow. What the?
No worries. Yeah. I just started wrestling, like, I guess as a wrestler, like, 17, but I started training at 14 years old.
Okay.
It was around the December of 2022. I was a freshman in high school. Now I'm a senior. And I just always loved professional wrestling. I always watched it, always enjoyed it. I always wanted to be something extra when I was younger. And I tried out theater, I tried out esports, I just tried out these things that not the average person would want to do for a career. A lot of my friends were always like, oh, I want to work at a desk, or I want to work as a bartender or something like that. And I was just like, I don't understand. You know what I mean? I always wanted something big. And so I did try out theater, and it just really wasn't my thing. I didn't really like how it worked. I tried out esports. It didn't really work out. And then I was just kind of like drifting, and pro wrestling just came up as an idea because when I was younger, again, I would always watch it. I always enjoyed it. I would always lie to my friends and tell them that I was a professional wrestler. And I was like, you know what? I want to make this happen. So I messaged Coach Marvel of the Hybrid School of Wrestling. And at first he goes, you have to be 16 with parent consent. I remember I was just like, okay, I understand. A few months later, I messaged him again on Twitter, and I'm like, please, like, I sent him like 4 paragraphs of just like, please, I'll do whatever I can. Like, I'll do everything. I'll do every challenge you put me through. Like, I promise I won't let you down. And he was like, okay, bring in your parents and we'll talk. And so from there, we had a meeting, and then we had another meeting with my parents, and the rest is history. I signed up, started training. It's been a big part of my life, obviously, and it is always going to be. How it develops me as a person and how it develops my growth in life, I would definitely say it's because of the people there, the people that's trained me, the people that I'm friends with, the people that I'm family with there. That is truly my family there. They take care of me. They've guided me. Whenever I act dumb, they let me know. Whenever anything, like they guide me through what I need to go through. They tell me what's right and what's from wrong, and I'm just so happy to have everybody there because they truly do take care of me.
Because your parents were a factor,
yes,
in you training. Were they apprehensive, or were they with you since day one when you started training?
I think at first they were definitely like, oh, I don't know, like they didn't think I was gonna stick to it. And the cost is a little high, and they were going to pay for it. Thank goodness, because I love them.
That would have been a different story.
Yeah, I would have to get like a job, and oh man, J-O-B. Not yet. But yeah, definitely at first they were a little like, okay, I don't know about this just because of the price. But my dad was on board. This is around the time where the Royal Rumble was here in San Antonio, so I think like 2023.
Okay.
And I was like, "Look, guys, like I'll do anything for it. I don't even want to go to the Royal Rumble. Like you guys can put the money from the Royal Rumble into the school." And they're like, "What?" And I think that's what really surprised my dad. And he was like, "Okay, well, if you want to make that deal, then okay." We still ended up going to the Royal Rumble. They ended up surprising me.
Yeah.
But that's when they're like, "Okay, like message them. We'll go do it." And then even still then, like my mom was still like, "Oh my god, I don't want my baby getting hurt." You know what I mean? Uh,
Right.
and then when I actually started wrestling, I think it was 16. Um, she's still like, "Oh my god," like I'll be playing matches on the TV and she'll be like yelling at the TV. It's a great time. But yeah, now they're very much supportive of it. They show up to all my shows. They always want to watch my promos, or if I'm out of town, they always want to watch my matches. But yeah.
Is I think what's fascinating about, like, especially in training, did it take time for you to just learn the foundations and basics, or because you're a fan on your own, did the lessons actually come to life from you as a fan, or did it take time for you to say, okay, I have to learn this, I have to get through it, or it's like, all right, I can pick this up day one?
There is definitely a lot that I caught on to very quickly because when I was younger, I would always watch the like WWE training videos and stuff like that, and I'd see them do forward rolls. And so in my living room, I had like two couches like this, and I would use them
Mhm.
as ropes and just bounce off both of them. And then I would use like the square we had in the middle, and I would do forward rolls and I'd do back rolls and stuff like that. And even before I, like, watched wrestling, I would just do forward rolls and back rolls because I don't know, that's just what kids do. And so, I already knew a lot of the basic forward rolls. I already knew a bunch of the basic back rolls. On my first training day, in-ring training day, it was supposed to be a, like, everybody shows up day, like, an average training day, but it was so cold that they shut down the school. And at the time, trainer Brandon Weiss, the elder emo, he had come in, he messaged the hybrid group chat and was like, "Hey, if anybody wants to come in train, you can." And it ended up being me and a very good friend of mine named Ben. And we went and it was freezing. And so I didn't want to miss my first day just because of the cold. You know what I mean? So I was
Yeah.
just like, let me jump into this. And so he was like, okay, this is how you do a forward roll. This is how you do a back roll. And I would get it quickly, and then he would move me up to like tiger rolls and then tiger rolls off the rope and stuff like that, all in the same day. And at the time I was like, oh, this is just normal training. But after a while I would see new people come in and they wouldn't get that same treatment. They would get like learn forward rolls, or they would learn just the back rolls, and maybe they would get to like a quarter roll, you know what I mean, before they got to the big stuff. And I was like, oh my goodness, they taught me ahead, you know. And it's just because I caught on, and I just thought that was super cool because that just whenever I was down, I just was like, "Okay, well, they see something in me, so let's not bring myself down and bring that what they see in me down." You know what I mean?
Oftentimes, because a lot of training, it takes a lot of progress, but for you to pick things up so quickly, like, what was the most important thing that you've learned as you're picking things up at a faster pace than everyone else?
The thing that I learned is that things are just gonna happen. Like, things are gonna take their time. There's a bunch of things that I was already, like, decent or pretty good at, and I caught on too quickly, but then there was so much that I just had so much struggle with that I never thought I was gonna figure out. And with that, it's all about it's gonna take time. You shouldn't be hard on yourself. I was so hard on myself. Every time I didn't make, like, certain cut, we don't have cuts, but, like, whenever I didn't reach a certain goal by this certain time, I was very much like, you know what, it's over. Like, I don't know why I'm doing this anymore and stuff like that. I'd get very upset with myself. I'd get very demotivated, and that's just not the way to do it. It made the experience not fun. And a lot of vet wrestlers, and even I'll say it, is like the experience is the fun. Like the journey is the fun. The
Mhm.
outcome is too, like, I love wrestling, don't get me wrong, but I'll never be able to be a first-time student again. I'll never be able to be not knowing anything and training in the beginner ring again. That was definitely the fun part, but definitely not being hard on myself whenever I couldn't get something down by a certain time.
And you learn things. It's not like picking things up the first time. It's a unicorn if you do it right the first time. And how has repetition kind of play into how you're learning things over at hybrid?
Repetition is definitely one of the number one things to training of becoming a professional. Anything. Honestly, if you want to get good at something, you just keep doing it over and over. I would need work on selling. So I would come in every day at like 4 p.m., maybe even earlier, during the summer, and Casey would just beat me up. Casey Blackrose would just beat me up until training started, and then I would have normal training. And that would happen every day, every day, every day, because I didn't know any moves, and so he would just help me sell, and that's how I feel like I've gotten my great selling. And then another repetition is just obviously the Monday through Thursday training schedule that hybrid has. I don't think any other school has Monday through Thursday. And with that, it gives us so much time to work on the stuff we need, to work on the stuff that we need help on, like super, like the basics. Because not a lot of people, like, once you get away from the beginner ring and Funaki's ring, you're not forced to do a certain movement. So the movement could get out of place a little bit. So if we need work on that, we can work on that. Once you're in the grad ring, you're not alone, but it's kind of like, okay, what do you want to do today? Not really what the plan is. But repetition definitely has helped me. And Funaki's ring, he'll have you do the same spot over and over until you get it the way he wants it, and then he'll add to it. And then in the beginner ring, you'll just do the same roll, or you'll do the same little spot until you get it with the good right footwork and stuff like that. And then in the grad ring, since we all know, like majority of us know what we're talking about, we're gonna always like, okay, this needs work, or we're gonna point out, does this need work, you know?
Because what was the one lesson that kind of stuck with you after you finally got it after so many tries in Funaki's ring?
The one lesson that I definitely got, and that sticks with me, is to just always focus on how the outcome is going to be. If you're not going to get it this time, just know that you will get it at one point. You're just never not going to get it. Like, it's impossible to just not get it. They're not going to, well, I mean, if you don't get it, if something's small, they are not going to hold you back because of it. But the amazing teachers that we have, the amazing coaches that we have, Coach Funaki, Coach Marvel, Coach Don Juan, Coach Diego, Coach Casey, they're not gonna like let you just forget about the movement or forget about the spot. They're gonna teach you, and they're not gonna get frustrated with you. They're gonna take their time if they need to, and they're gonna really just help you get through the movement. So the outcome, like you're gonna get the outcome at one point. Think about the outcome.
It takes one. All it takes is one, because once that one thing that you got finally passes, you're like, okay, I can move on to the next one. Or if there is improvement that needs to be done, okay, what can I do to get it right 100%? Because it's always these small increments of improvement. And then when you get to that point in your lesson, you're like, oh, I get it. And knowing that, you know, once you're done with that one, you can apply that to what you need to do on your move set.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And is what I noticed too is you have, and it takes a while to work on the mic. And our conversation right now, you have good wordplay, which is very, very cool to see at that age. And to know wrestling is about communicating not only to the people that you work with, but to the fans. How did that get to that point that we are talking right now, and how you're speaking things, whether it's on an interview or a promo, or if you're interacting with fans? When did that improve on your end to get to that point?
I would definitely say that I've always just been a like talkative person. I've never really had a fear of like talking to people. I'm a very like outgoing person. If I need to talk to you for something, or even just talk to you and I'm just interested, then I'll just definitely just go up to you and I'll just start talking to you. But really what shaped my words into like not just, oh, this, oh, yeah, you know what I mean? It was definitely because of Coach Don Juan in the Hybrid School of Wrestling. Coach Don Juan runs the promo classes at Hybrid. And I think literally ever since I joined, we've had promos. And a certain day every single week, he would give us a format. Sometimes he would give us words to stick by, and then we add our own. Or we would just have a whole promo we'd have to come up with on a certain situation for we could just practice and practice and practice. And I got to think that, because at first I would just be like, I remember I had this character named Chris Chaos, and he was super serious. He was very John Moxley, but like
Okay.
14-year-old John Moxley, wannabe John Moxley. So it was like, this Wednesday, I'm going to fight you, and I don't care what's going to happen in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, thank God I'm away from that. But
I can imagine like a gruff
I have videos.
guy
I have
when you're
videos.
14.
I have videos. I had the jacket I had now, but instead of like open, it was like zipped up, and I'm just like in the corner like this. Like, it was not it. Not it. I'm so glad I'm far away from that. But yeah, I would definitely thank Coach Don Juan's promo classes every single week to helping me find myself as a pro wrestler character and even just get better on the microphone.
Who besides Don Juan, like what were some of the other sources of inspiration to cut promos? Because of course the promo class is the foundation. What other sources of, whether it's in wrestling or whether it's in media, like who did you look up to refine where Don Juan built you from where he left off in what you're doing?
Someone I always look at is Seth Rollins. I am a big Seth Rollins fan. I think Seth is just such a phenomenal wrestler all the way around. He started when he was a teenager, and then he made it pretty quickly to where he wants to be and where he wanted to go. John Moxley as well. I love John Moxley's story and his promos as well as Dean Ambrose. I was a big Dean Ambrose fan, still am. Just all the Shield members, to be honest, like Roman Reigns as well. I would just look at all the current day great promos, and then I would even look back then with like Ric Flair and Ultimate Warrior, and just thinking about how they believe themselves. You know, that's really all it is that you have to believe yourself. There's so many people nowadays, and this isn't a diss, it's just they don't believe in themselves. And that's just something you got to do, because if you don't believe in yourself, the fans are going to be able to tell. And that's just, they're not going to believe you if you don't believe in yourself.
Yeah.
I think believing in yourself is one of the number one key things, not just for this business, just for everything you do. You're not doing it for other people, you're doing it for yourself. And yeah, believing in yourself is one of the big key points. But yeah, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, LA Knight is a big one. I do the whole Brock Ali thing. Yeah,
I see
that's where it started. That's where it started. I didn't want to completely, copy, but it's a good little emo.
It's a nice little nod.
It is a nice little nod. I love LA Knight. Yeah.
So with the work that you're doing now, leading up to your debut, and that's probably the first thing, that's your first skill check in your training within that span of a couple years, and your family's there, and suddenly you're in your debut with the work that you're doing. Do you remember who you worked with in your debut, and what was it like finally seeing the training that you've done to now, okay, I can do stuff now in the ring, in a show like in Hybrid?
Absolutely, yeah. It was Jaden Valentino. We do not like each other now, but at the time, he was one of my bestest friends. Me and Jaden trained with each other in Funaki's ring. Funaki would always have us doing spots, and then he would add on to our spots, and we'd kind of be the only ones in that ring who were going to that level where he was just adding spot after spot after spot, and we would have to put them all together. So we had very good chemistry with working with each other. Whenever I'd get in trouble, I would somehow get him in trouble. Whenever he would get in trouble, I would get in trouble. We were like that duo. You know what I mean? And so for it to be him being my opponent for my debut was very special to me, because at the time, like, I love Jalen. Like, Jaden was great. Jaden was everything to me. You know what I mean? Like, as a best friend. And so I remember how we found out. I was playing the game with some Hybrid guys, and it was like 2 a.m. And I think Armani Sage was like, hey, like, look at look at Coach's story. So I went to Coach Marvel's story, and it was like text said, I wonder who's gonna see this first. And then it was our match poster, me versus Jalen. And I was
Aw.
like, oh man, dude, that's insane. I just popped
You
because
just wandered into
I
it.
was just like, yo, this is crazy. Like, this is first time. Like, this is my debut. It's gonna be awesome because I know what me and Jaden can do. And so I immediately called Jaden. I did not even think that they could be sleeping for work. You know what I mean? And I called him up, and I'm like, look at Marvel's story. And he's like, oh my god. And I'm like, yes, like it's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome. And they're like, I'm just so excited. And I was like, yeah. And then we hung up. And I was just thinking about it until the day. And then when the day finally came, I was just so surreal because it wasn't me just coming in to help out with another hybrid show. I was coming in and I was putting my gear bag in the locker room now. And it was just such an amazing feeling because it's like I've walked in this building show after show after show after show. I don't go into the locker room first thing. I go to say hi everybody, obviously, and then I go put up the speakers or I go help put up chairs or I put the ring aprons on, you know what I mean, get ready for the show. But now I get to finally walk in, say hi to everybody, and put my stuff in the locker room. I think that's just such an amazing feeling. And then when the hours started getting closer and closer, I just did my best not to think about it. This is how I get ready for a match. I don't really think about that I'm having a match. It's weird. I just like, oh, I'm not wrestling today. That's the thought in my head, you know? Even when
Mhm.
I'm going through the match, even when I'm getting ready for it, in my head, it's just, I'm not wrestling today. Like, for the nervousness doesn't kick in and it doesn't take over. But at one point, I just couldn't, like, contain it, like, I'm debuting today, there's no way of me holding that back. I had messaged everybody I knew, the night of whenever I found out, and so many people showed up. So many of my friends, my parents showed up, so many of their friends showed up, like, it was just an amazing night. I came out, big frickin' pop. It was something so special, and I feel like that match came out so frickin' well. It is definitely, I think, like my top 2, top 3 favorite match of all time so far, just because how special everything was to put together with it and just how good it was.
Because we talked about your parents and knowing that they have their stake in how you're doing things over at Hybrid. What was it like seeing them saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe my son is having a debut"?
For them, I think it was definitely very emotional. Even after my match, I went to them and I hugged them and I was like, "Thank you guys for everything." Like, I swear this is not gonna be the end of it. This is just the start. And my dad is a very emotional guy, so he was tearing up, and my mom was just like, my mom has a very like blank face, I guess I would say. Like, she just
Poker
all
face?
the
I'd say
time, yeah,
poker
like
face.
poker face all the time. And so, like, my dad's like, "I'm so proud of you," like, this, and my mom is just like, "Good job, sweetie." And I know she's proud.
It's black and white. That's what it
Yeah, it's
looks
just black
like.
and white. I know she's proud, and I know she's happy for me, but she's just not the type to, like, I guess, show all of that. And so, I was just very
Yeah.
happy. It was a very happy moment. I hope they're proud, but I think they're definitely proud. Whenever I graduated and my poster was put on the wall, somebody told me, multiple people told me that my dad walked in on the show day, and he looked at it, and he started crying again, and it was very sweet. It
Ah.
was very awesome to be told that.
Because yes, you mentioned graduating, and within that span of time, and you have this paper that says, "Okay, I am a professional wrestler," and to know that you're almost at the edge of really taking your talents outside of hybrid. What was it like seeing that paper in front of you and going through the motions of how you're graduating in hybrid?
It was everything, cause I do
Yeah.
my best not to set goals for myself in the way of, like, it's not on my time, because it's not really on your time when you graduate. It just depends
Right.
on, like, the timing of when the coaches think you're ready. I could think I'm ready, but the
Mm.
coaches don't. So it's the fact that it's like I don't wanna set goals for myself where I don't have any control over the goal because I don't wanna feel let down. And when I feel let down, I go into this space of like, "You know what? Then I'm not gonna try anymore," and stuff like that. And it's
Yeah.
just not
It's
a
like
right.
uncertainty, like a little bit
Yeah.
of despair.
It's not a good, like, mindset to be in, so I just do my best to, like, set little timestamps, like, "Okay, if this would happen by now, I'm gonna reach a certain goal of mine." And one of my biggest goals was to be the youngest graduate of the hybrid school of wrestling. I think that'd be a
Mhm.
great, like, cool thing to have. I was the first ever, not first ever, the youngest person to join the school. I want to be the youngest person to graduate. And so when the night of, we had Mel, one of the producers of RCW, she came in and she had new posters for the grads that have already graduated, but we didn't have a poster for them on the wall. And so she came
Mhm.
in, she handed them out. I think Rilo got one. I think Ridley got one. A few other people I don't remember. And then there's like two more left. And at the time, it was like I feel like the runner-ups to graduate was me, Jaden, Chris Barton. I might be forgetting somebody. I think that's like the three runner-ups. And so
Mhm.
those two in my head could have been any of us. Uh, I for sure knew one of them were Jaden's because I was just like, there's no way. Like Jaden is so talented. There's no way one of them is not Jaden's. So I was filming. I automatically just started filming because I want to get this moment
Yeah.
for a good friend of mine. And I started filming and they reveal it's Jaden's. And I'm like, oh my God, let's go. And they're like, we have one more. And then like they turn it and I see it's part of me. And I have the video and you can literally hear me. I'm not going to say the word, oh, shoot. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, shoot. And I put my phone away and I'm like, this is insane. This is happening. You know what I mean? And I take it, we get a picture, and then our coach Marvel hands us the certificate. It says congratulations. And it was just such an awesome feeling because it's like finally, after all the time, all the hours, all the my body that I put on the line for this, I finally got something that says like I can wrestle now. You know what I mean? And it was just such an awesome feeling. It made me so happy. It still makes me happy thinking about it. I worked so hard for it. I have it in a like glass frame in my room. It's just such an amazing thing to wake up to and look at and say I achieved that.
So now the question is, were you the youngest?
Yes, I am the youngest graduate of the hybrid school of wrestling. I
Okay.
did it.
I wanted to make
I did
sure.
it.
I
Yes,
wanted to make sure
absolutely.
because
Imagine
you
I'm
kind
just
of left
like,
us hanging.
yeah, I did. I imagine I'm just like, oh well, dreams are meant to be dreams. Sometimes they don't come true. No, I did. I definitely got that.
All right, that's good because now that you're out on the road and now that you're now like doing things outside of hybrid, and we'll talk about a match that I looked at, but we'll talk about that match later down the line. Between now that you have your certificate to now going outside, what was it like to now say that, okay, I know my worth as a wrestler. I know my worth knowing that all the work that I've done is going to be outside of hybrid. What was that like being in that position now that you've graduated at hybrid?
Being in that position, I was just ready. I was ready for everything. I'm a very much of the person and the wrestler to take every opportunity I can. A lot of people tell me not to take every booking that I can get, but also a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people have told me to take every booking I can get. And I just think like what's going to hurt if I don't take like what's going to hurt if I do take this booking? You know what I mean? Like if I have nothing else going on that day, why not take the booking? Why not get my reps in? Why not spread my name in other places? Who cares if the place is 10 people? Who cares if the place is 15 people? That's how places start. And even if it doesn't get built from that, that's 10, 15 people that possibly are going to learn who I am today. And no matter what, getting paid.
Yeah,
Getting
exactly. That's the
paid.
main part.
Like, why not take the booking if they're willing to pay me for my efforts? If I get to just change the day for the fans, if I get to entertain the fans there, then why not? Like, I don't see what hurts with that. So I definitely, as soon as I graduated, I was like, I'm gonna take every booking. I think that night I literally made myself a like I am like able to be booked now poster. Like
Mm-hmm.
immediately started editing it, put it together, and then I posted it by the next day because I don't want to miss out. I want everybody to know like Brock Ali is like available. You know what I mean? Like he is ready. He wants to be on your show. He will make your show better. And I think that's just the immediate first thing that I thought of when I graduated was I'm about to wrestle. I'm about to wrestle it up out here. Yeah, that was definitely my first thought.
Do you remember your first booking outside of hybrid?
First booking outside of hybrid, I think I'm not gonna count United because I already wrestled United. Oh my god, that's technically my debut match. I didn't think about that. Technically is. I was in a cage match with K-Jax and Jaden Valentino. I completely forgot about that. But first booking, I think it was the Luchador Bar. I think I had wrestled the Luchador Bar.
Okay.
I don't remember much from it because it was like a few months ago, and it was just out of nowhere. I think I had messaged them because I saw that they had a show, and they're like, "Hey, if you come in, we don't have a promised spot for you, but you can just come in, watch, like look around. You can watch the matches. Again, we don't have a promised spot for you, but you can show up just in case." And that's just usually how wrestling is. Always bring your gear, is what they tell you. Always bring your
Mhm.
gear. You never know when they might need somebody. So I showed up, brought my gear, brought my merch. And I think 30 minutes before the show started, they're like, "Hey, one of our guys couldn't make it. Can you fill in?" And I was like,
Look at that. Look at that.
"Absolutely." And so again, I had nothing else going on that day. If I didn't go, I would have probably just stayed home. I took a rest day. But what's gonna hurt was showing up, watching wrestling for free. You know what I mean? This is what I'm about. If I'm watching it or if I'm actually participating in it, like what's gonna hurt from it? And so it got me an opportunity. And so I meet my opponent and we go out there and we start, and the crowd's hot for me. This is my first time ever being there. This is my first ever booking outside of Hybrid and United. There was a bunch of familiar faces in that crowd, but there was also a whole bunch of people that I've never met before. There's also, honestly, probably a bunch of people who just went there to drink and they just saw a wrestling ring and was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And so I showed them what it was. I went out, I did all the stuff that I always do. I showed out and I showed up, and afterwards, I got so much great feedback. So many people that I've never met before, or even people I've met before. They're like, "That was amazing, great job. This is my first time seeing you. You're like great, like this and this and this." I sold some merch. I made some money. Everything worked out. Everything was great. And I talk about money a lot. For whoever's watching this, I swear I don't do it just for the money. It's a nice benefit and it
It's a
helps.
perk. It's a
It's a
perk.
perk, but I love the fans. I'll do this for the fans. This I just, money is just a perk. You know what I mean?
Because it's
Helps.
kind of it's interesting too, because like to have a fandom in hybrid to now going outside, how different is it going through these different promotions to where if it is your first time and then there's these fans that you've never met and then suddenly they're putting you over in the match, like for example with that first booking,
Yeah.
what was it like seeing a different set of fans apart from what you're already used to over at hybrid?
The big difference, I think, is support. Now, hybrid fans are so supportive, and I'm so thankful for them because maybe me and Jaden just suck. Maybe we suck, but they absolutely cheered for us. Absolutely
Yeah.
they gave us the "This is awesome" chant. They gave us so many different, like, that match wasn't quiet at any point. So if we
Mhm.
suck, they're just super supportive. But even if we don't, I hope we don't, they were still very supportive to us. And that's just the thing. Every match I've done at Hybrid, they've been super supportive. They'll cheer you if
Right.
you put your hands up. You know what I mean? Like, I love them for that because it's so hard to work a crowd that's just silent, dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it is the wrestler's job to hype up the crowd. It's the wrestler's job to get them involved. But I think I had a match with Cesar, actually at 5 Star, and it was at a
Mhm.
bar. So I think those people just showed up for the drinking, and we were going at it, and we put on this crazy match. And I would have Cesar in a chokehold, and I would go, "Come on, cheer for him," and nothing on Cesar because
It's like
Cesar is
it's like
phenomenal.
crickets. It's like
Yeah,
crickets.
Cesar is a phenomenal wrestler, so it's definitely not on him. It's like this crowd just, and then you hear like one, "Come on, Cesar," and it's like, "Oh man, what do I do?" And then when I had him fully like passed out, he literally knocked out. Like I choked the life out of him,
Mhm.
and then the crowd were just still like, and I'm like,
Is
"Okay,
it over?
yeah, is it over?" And then he somehow, he surprised me. He kept his arm up, and then that's when the crowd got up.
There you
And
go.
so I was like, "Oh my goodness, guys. You want to see a kid almost die for you to cheer? What is wrong with you?" That's why I hate Laredo. That's why I hate the Laredo crowd. All you
Oh
Laredoans,
boy.
you all suck. All right? And that's not character. That's the truth. I hate you all. I forgot where we're going with this. Oh, different crowds. But yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
have dead crowds. You're gonna have crowds that never met you before. And Luchador Bar was definitely one of the ones where they just never met me before. And so I had to do everything I usually do times 10. I already go out, like all the way out in all my matches. I'll never just give you my 50%. I'll never give you my 40%. I'll always give you my 100. But since these people are seeing me for the first time, I gave my 110. And I gave it everything I could. And at a certain point, I got them on my side, and a lot of people gave me so much good feedback afterwards. That was like a very good feeling because 10, 15, like 20 people go up to me, 30 people after the match. They go up to me and they're like, "That was awesome, kid. Like, that was insane how you're doing this at this age." And it's a lot of stuff I've heard before, but it's still so special to me because it's the fact that they're taking their time out to go up to me and tell me these things. They took the time out. They didn't know that they're going to see me today, but they still put the effort into cheer because they could literally just sit there with the beer in the hand or whatever they're drinking or eating. They can just sit there and they can just watch. It's their choice to cheer or not. Even if I'm trying
Mhm.
to get them to cheer for me, it's their choice. So the fact that they did that for me, and then the fact that they go out of their way to come up to me and just say good job, I'm so thankful for it. I love every single fan interaction. I love every single time a fan has something to tell me, whether it's good or bad. It's just the fact that you took the time out to talk to me, and that just means the world to me.
Because you mentioned Cesar over at 5-star, and I know that we mentioned it a bit before we hit record. He has some experience, but he's also younger than you.
Yes.
And to know that, okay, I know they're significantly younger, and to have your experience as young as it is, how easy was it to work with someone who is younger, and how did you like really make the match more involved with the crowd as that match goes along?
Well, I would definitely say it was like easy, 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 easy.
Okay.
He is very much like me, and maybe that's why I get mad. Maybe I get jealous at him because he's very much like me. Maybe that's why I hate him so much.
You're a mirror.
Yeah, like a
It's like a
mirror,
mirror of
like
yourself.
a shorter, dumber. No, I'm just kidding. But it was super easy to put the match together because we're just always on the same page. Like we wanted to show
Okay.
out. We both knew that we are athletic. We can both do flips and stuff like that. So we're both like, let's show out. Let's do this. And so it was just very easy. I just asked him what his stuff was, and he gave it to me, and I was like, boom, cool. We put it together. We put this thing that we
Okay.
like together. In the time frame that we had, and it was great. It was phenomenal, and I think we got a lot of good feedback from that match, actually. And to get the fans more involved, it was just simple slowing stuff down. You know, I wanted them to cheer for me because I drove all the way from San Antonio to Laredo. You know what I mean? Why wouldn't you cheer
Hmm.
for me? I'm from the beautiful city of San Antonio. And so when I had him in a chokehold, I was like, absolutely, they're going to cheer for me when I'm choking this kid out. They didn't like that very much. I'm not going to lie. They did not like that I was
Yeah.
choking a kid out. I don't know why you wouldn't like to see a kid get choked out, but whatever.
Oh no.
I tried making them say my name multiple times. One guy said it with me one time, which was great. I was on the top rope. I go, Brock
Better
Ali.
than none.
Yeah,
It's better than not
exactly.
getting
So
anything.
maybe he needs to come down to San Antonio and get away from that crap town of Laredo. And
Mhm.
you'll see a lot more of Brock Ali. But yeah, that's how I'd get the crowd involved. Is just I would
Yeah.
try to make them say my name. I'll put Cesar in a chokehold. You know what I mean? I'll try to choke him out. The power is from the crowd. That is where the power
Yeah.
comes from. That's where I get my power from when the crowd is cheering me, they're heckling me, or they're booing me. That's where I get my strength from. It's not that I work out every day, or it's not that I, train Monday through Thursday. It's the voice of the people. That's what gets me
Right.
back on my feet is the voice of the people. So that's what I absolutely need. Even if I'm, in Laredo and I hate it there, that's what gets me through the terrible
Yeah.
time that I have to be in Laredo is the crowd, even if they're booing me, because a reaction is a reaction.
Yeah. Because it's fat. Because I was going to ask this because we did talk about communicating with the fans, but on a different aspect. And you kind of hit the points of what I'm asking. Communicating with someone that you're working with, how is that important to a flow of the match? Because anything can go wrong in a match one way or another. But for you guys, because I've seen the match and It was a very, very crisp match throughout
Thank
that
you.
time. How did that play into you guys working into each other to make the match better than where it should be?
Communication is so important. It has to be the number one thing. If you don't communicate to your dance partner, how are you gonna know the next dance move? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so like you said, anything can happen. You can't just think that y'all are on the same page because
Yeah.
that's impossible. You know, we're human. We're not telepathically connected to each other. So communication is very key. You got to make sure the other person's completely okay with all this stuff. There might, in certain scenarios, somebody's not going to be the happiest about something that's going on. That depends on the ending of the match, the beginning, how their move is going to be hit. However, it is, I do my best to communicate and ask, are you okay with this? Are you happy with this? Do you feel good about this? You know what I mean? I think that's the most important thing because if we're not having fun, what's the point of us doing this? I get it's a
Yeah.
business. I get this is, just us making business, but life is too short not to be happy. If you're unhappy about this, then I don't think you're gonna put your all into this. Um, Even when I'm unhappy with stuff, I put my all into it, but I might be upset afterwards. I just don't want that to happen for anybody else. I know the feeling, so I don't want that to happen for anybody else. So I'm very big on asking, "Are you okay with this? Are you good with this? Do you feel comfortable with this?" If they're like, "No," then all right, let's find something else. Let's find a middle, a compromise. And then if they're like, "Yeah," then we're good. You know what I mean? We're good. So
Mhm.
it's like that's how I communicate. And even if something gets messed up, grab a hold. Grab a hold. Grab
Yeah. Just like ad lib if you need to.
Boom. Yeah. All right,
Exactly.
brother. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the other way.
Because United 210 was a thing too. And because Sash and Rob have been doing this, dude, they're already, it's the one of the premier promotions in San Antonio. What was that like having that handshake from Sash or with Rob saying like, hey, do you want to work a couple of shows over at United?
It was an amazing feeling. Just the fact that they trust me to be on their show. They've had so many great superstars on their show. So the fact that I get to be on the same show as those superstars, it was just a phenomenal feeling. It was an honor. I knew Rob and Stash before I even started like full-time wrestling. I knew them when I was training. Even when I was training, I would go to United shows and I didn't really know them much then. I would just, go up to them and say hello, pay my respects. But after a while, me and Rob started getting to know each other, and then me and Stash started getting to know each other, and I would start showing up to their shows early to help out. And whenever they needed me, I would be there. If it was on a random Saturday to clean their ring, or it was a random Saturday to take apart their ring, weatherproof it, and then put it back up, I was there. Even still today, when before a show, on weekends or weekdays or whatever it is, I show up for them because they have had so much help in my journey. They have helped me progress so much. They've given me so much amazing advice. I just wrestled both of them recently at the hybrid show. It was a
Mm-hmm.
great experience. It's such a great learning experience. I'm wrestling Rob Love today, actually, as the day that this is getting filmed. I'm wrestling him at the Luchador bar. Um, they're just great guys, just two great guys, and I'm just so happy to be able to work for them, to be friends with them, and call them family. I call them Uncle Rob and
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Stash. Because they're
Oh
my uncles.
wow! I'll
Yeah,
never unhear that now.
yeah.
I'll never unhear Uncle
Uncle
Stan.
Rob and Uncle Stash. Oh yeah, love those guys.
So, 2025 is still a thing, and we're close to the year ending. And being that it's in October, what are you still looking forward to in your career for the rest of the
Rest of the year, getting booked up for November and December. So if any of you bookers are out there
year?
who want to book me up for November and December, even October, I'm pretty booked up for October. I have like 7 bookings this month, but November and December is looking a little. So if you guys want to book
it's it's
me,
it's it's iffy.
it's a little iffy. I have only like 3 or 4 bookings for December and November separate. So it's like I want to have a goal of getting at least 6 bookings every month. That's my goal. And I've been able to reach that goal since I debuted, which is a good feeling. I just want to keep it going. You know what I mean? So that's really
Yeah.
what the main goal for that is. Um, Me and my tag partner, Jay Young, Dead Man's Hand, we are looking at those United Tag Team Championships, and I'll shoot this right now. me and Jay are coming for those tag team championships. I don't know how we're gonna get a number one contender shot, but I think we deserve one because at the last a few United shows ago, we were in a gauntlet match for those exact tag team championships, and we didn't just pin the tag team champions to progress. We defeated Living in Fashion of Zakai Living and Jaden Valentino, and we made it to the final round, and then we got those championships stolen from us because we had Chaos Galvan and his tag team partner take us out. I don't think that's right. And we just still haven't got a shot since. I don't think that's fair. So Riot Party, pretty badass Riot Party, we're coming for you. We're coming for those tag team championships. I'm shooting that right now. Book it.
Oh boy.
Book it.
I might clip this. You never know.
Clip it and post it. Clip it and post it. I'm very upset.
God.
I'm very upset. I thought we won from the first round. I didn't know how a gauntlet match worked.
That's what I noted. I was at that show because I thought you had the belts, and then suddenly, like, it kind of went on the wayside. It's like, what on earth?
I was confused.
But we're at the mercy of the bookers at that point.
Yeah, nobody told me it was a gauntlet match. I went in, I rolled up Chaos Galvan, and I heard 3. So where's my belt? Where's my championship? I was excited. And then I hear music play, and then they come out and whoop us. Jaden knocked me off the apron. What is that?
Yikes.
I get no break? Wow. Wow.
Oh, my goodness. So I have one more thing to ask you, because you were in El Paso a few weeks ago at God of the Ring.
Yes.
And I take it this is like your furthest that you've ever been in a booking as a wrestler. To go to that distance to be in a wrestling show, and it's on your birthday too, which is kind of cool to be in. What was it like to go to being that far in the state just to wrestle?
I've been to El Paso one time before that, and it was for a different promotion that I can't remember the name of. But it was like, I think like a month and a half ago, maybe. I think it was in August, actually. Back in August, I went to El Paso. So that first experience was a really cool experience because, again, traveling all the way out there. Long drive. Oh, my goodness.
It's a different time zone, too.
Yeah, I don't miss the drive. I'm going to be completely honest. The drive is insane. But, again, I guess it is about the journey. I get to spend time with wrestling family. And I don't even consider them just wrestling family, just family in general. I get to experience that on the road with them, road trips, and just talking, messing around, sleeping. And the first time me being there, it was a totally different experience. I was meeting totally different people I've never met before. One of the people that stuck out to me the most was Dastin. I met Dastin. He's a very great luchador from El Paso, I believe. And we put on a great match. I went for his championship, first debut in El Paso, and I got a championship opportunity. But the second time, which is the most recent, I can remember majority off my head. I was traveling with Casey. I was traveling with Zakai. I was traveling with Jesse, Diego, Devin, Don Juan, and Felicia Extreme. And it was just a great time just to be around each other. So many different personalities. You got Don Juan's mischievous side. He's trying to drive us off the road as a prank. Brother, what? Trying to make it to El Paso. Felicia is begging him to please just stay straight on the road. And then you got Devin, you got Diego, and you got Zakai, and you got Jesse. And Diego's being in the back, he's picking on people, giving people wet willies in the back. I had to sit in the middle. It was a 7-seater, and there was 8 of us in the vehicle, so I sat in the middle. So I was literally ow. I was like this the whole time.
You're turtled up.
I was turtled up for 16 hours. 16 hours. And I'm so happy it was with them, because if it was with anybody else, I don't think I would have made it. They definitely all helped me make it. But it was a great time getting there, working for a new promotion in El Paso. It's my second time in El Paso. It was awesome. What's funny is that clip of it being my birthday. It's not actually my birthday. So yeah, they ribbed me. They ribbed me. I was tired at that point. It was me and Don Juan. Yes, I tag team with the Treat, only in El Paso, by the way, because I also have the same dislike of El Paso that Don Juan has. So, we really bonded over that. We were talking in the car on the way there, and he was like, "Hey, Brock, you're going to wrestle in El Paso?" And I was like, "Yeah, I hate El Paso." And he was like, "Me too." And so we just bonded over that, and we're like, you know what? Let's beat up Devin and Zakai. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so
Wow.
yeah,
Just like
that's
that.
generally how the friendship of me and Don Juan in El Paso happened. We just both mutually agreed that we both hate El Paso and we want to beat up Devin and Zakai. And so that's what we did. We whooped their ass. We whooped their ass. And so
Yeah.
we worked around trying to win. We didn't win, unfortunately. I'd say they cheat because they did. I was hung upside down and got low blowed. I don't think that's very good guy
Ah.
of them, you know. And I would definitely like a rematch in El Paso. So got to the ring, book it, you know. But even after, I was told that we did an amazing job from the promoter. Even we was like, that was
That's
awesome, that was
good.
amazing. That was his first time ever seeing me. I was very lucky to get booked. I've always wanted to wrestle for God of the Ring in El Paso, and I had asked Casey multiple times, hey, like, how do I get on this and this and this? And literally 2 days before Saturday, so I think it was like Thursday, they're like, hey, do you want to go to El Paso with us? You can tag team. You'd be like in a match. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to, absolutely. And then it just worked out that me and Don Juan worked together and beat up Devin and Zakai. And so we go to the restaurant. We go to the restaurant afterwards, and it's a great time. Everyone's just chilling. I'm tired, so I'm just on my phone after I'm done eating, and I'm just, like, all right, let's, And then out of nowhere, a sombrero gets put on my head, and people start clapping and singing.
That's what I saw.
Yeah, I was look, as surprised as you were, I was, because I was just on my phone. I'm like falling asleep here, and
You're
then
half
boom.
dazed at that point.
Yeah, boom, and I hear a bunch of clapping, and I'm like, what's going on? I don't speak Spanish, so I had no idea what they were saying. And then I hear happy birthday to you, and I was like, oh, I just started clapping with them.
You're so tired, you don't even remember what day it was.
I don't. I start clapping with them. And I'm like, yeah, happy birthday to me. Wait, my birthday was like 2 months ago. What's going on? And it was hilarious. It was a great time. And then the promoter's daughter told me that he does that to people that he really likes. Like the first time, like great
good.
impression, like first time. I was like, oh, awesome.
That's good.
So I'm glad I made a great first impression by beating up Zakai and Devin with Don Juan. Yeah.
And you got free cake out of all of that.
I did. Indeed. Indeed, I did.
So we're close to wrapping up, and I think this was posted on T-Ray's social media, and there was a picture of you and him. I forgot which show it was, but this was like a couple of months ago. For someone who's a veteran in T-Ray, who's been in this scene for a number of years, to hear and to see that this Rock Ali guy has a bright future ahead of him. What was it like just seeing that on social media, and how did that really give you the confidence to keep going as a wrestler?
It was truly a really, really great feeling, because I watched T-Ray at United a year or two ago when he made his appearance, and I, as a fan at the time, technically a student, but I was sitting front row as a fan. And I was just watching his match, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like, and then just for me to be able to formally meet him recently, and for him to ask for a picture, he asked me for a picture. He was like, hey, like, Brock, you're amazing. Like, please let me get a photo. I was like, absolutely. And it was just like such a great feeling to me, because it's like, wow, like I'm getting noticed by levels up, like obviously levels above me. You know what I mean? And then see him like post it and be like, this kid has a bright future and stuff like that. And then to go as far, he even reposts my stuff on Facebook time to time. So it's just such a great feeling. Like,
nice.
It's great because it's gonna get me more like recognition by people who maybe never seen me before. But it's also the fact that it's like T-Ray is reposting my stuff. That's insane to me.
Yeah, because that's one of those things where, like, if someone's there for a long time and they see potential in someone, you're taken back, but you're like, do you think that you're in a right place in your career now that you're getting this type of recognition from a T-Ray?
I think I absolutely deserve it. Like, that's not like an ego thing whatsoever. I genuinely think all the work I've put into this, everything that I've sacrificed, time with family, time with friends, I think I deserve it all. Like, I've sacrificed so much of my body, so much of my time. There's so many people that say that they can do this, but they truly can't. They just think about the wrestling. They don't even think about the fact that everything that goes into it, from being there from 10 a.m. To 12 a.m. You know what I mean? Like, being there all night, all day, day after day after day, training Monday through Thursday. There's so many people that say they can do it, but they can't. They don't do it. They say, it's
Mhm.
fake, or they say, "Oh, it's just easy to do," and then they don't step in a ring and do it. I think I
Yeah.
absolutely deserve it, and the more I work harder and harder and harder, I deserve to continue to level up as I am, and I'm just super grateful for it. Um, as long as, I got God on my side, he's just gonna protect me and he's gonna keep me going and everything's gonna be fine. You know what I mean? All my dreams are gonna come true.
We'll end our conversation with this and picture yourself as a 10-year-old Brock Ali, and you are hanging out with you now. What would that 10-year-old Brock Ali feel like hanging out with you, who's been all over the road in Texas and the life that you have? What would that 10-year-old you feel like hanging out with current
10-year-old Brock Ali would be absolutely astonished. And I can speak for him
you?
because
Okay.
he's me. But it's like when I was 10 years old, I was in the 5th grade. I lied so much about pro wrestling to my friends. I
Mm.
remember one of my number one lies is that I went to WrestleMania 35. I did not go to WrestleMania 35.
That is oddly specific.
At the time, I was like, this is the greatest WrestleMania of all time. This is the Kofi Mania. You got Seth Rollins against Brock Lesnar. You got the first ever women's main event of WrestleMania. I was super
Yep.
excited. And I was like, guys, I'm going to this WrestleMania. And they're like, no way, prove it. And I was like, bet, give me anything you want me to sign, because I'm going backstage too. And so they gave, I think my friend at the time, he gave me like a lanyard, and I was like, all right, bet. And I literally just Googled the signatures and I signed it. I don't know if he I don't know I don't know if he still has it. And he's like, dude, this is worth so much money. It's not worth anything. I'm sorry. It's worth the $2 that you spent on it. And then I also lied about being a pro wrestler. I told them, which is crazy. I think at this 2019, yeah, hybrid existed. I would tell my friends, like, yeah, I trained at the hybrid school of wrestling. And I found the hybrid school of wrestling by just Googling wrestling schools on the internet, like Google. And I never knew
Yeah.
anything about hybrid. I never actually looked into it. I was just like, yeah, I train here. I actually wrestle here. And some people would believe me. Obviously, a lot of people didn't, because it was a lie. But it's just funny how it started as a lie like that, and then I ended up training there. And then, now I wrestle there, and I wrestle everywhere now. And it's super cool. So 10-year-old Brock Ali would be absolutely astonished that all his lies are coming true.
What was that Seinfeld? It's like, it's not a lie if you don't believe
It's not
it.
a lie if
It's
you don't
actually coming
believe
to
it. If it's becoming true, I just what is it? I just I put it out into the universe. You know what I mean? It's not a lie. I wasn't lying. I was just protecting it. I don't
You're
even know.
manifesting
I'm
it. You're
manifesting. I was
manifesting.
manifesting it, right? But yeah, I was just manifesting. I wasn't lying. Just manifesting.
And like, if you can give advice to that 10-year-old you, what
Stop
would you
lying.
like to give him?
Stop lying, dude.
All right.
I
I mean, that's advice on its own.
I was such a little liar. Like, always bad, dude. I was bad. I would tell him to lock in. I was a very mischievous kid. It was just me wanting that attention. And I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
WWE was not helping, because I would reenact like the characters. So I was very like Dean Ambrose. Not like crazy, but I was very like, oh, I don't care. But I mean, I was a very mischievous 10-year-old. It's just because I didn't want to get bullied, or I didn't want to get picked on, so I was the one who picked on people, which isn't the right thing to do. PSA, don't do that. Be different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would just try to, be that cool kid and stuff like that. And I just tell them, don't do that, because I really lost myself through
Yeah.
that. Even though I was 10 years old, I really lost like the stuff I enjoyed doing, because I was so like mind wiped by what everyone else is doing, and I wanted to be like everybody else, which is terrible. You don't want to be like everybody else. But yeah, just be you. Don't change yourself for anybody else. Don't change yourself to be cool or fit the norm. If you enjoy doing something, then stick to it. You know what I mean? Don't change anything. Because if I just dropped pro wrestling when people told me it was fake and that it's worth like no time and there's no point of watching it, then I wouldn't be living the amazing, happy life that I am now.
Yeah. So I have nothing left to give. You have the floor. Where can we find you?
You can find me at A Kid Called Ali on all social media. I'm not very active on X. I'm active on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, as well as my upcoming bookings of the month. I got today, October 4th. Probably not going to be able to see it because it's coming out like a week later. At the
Yeah.
Luchador Bar, October 5th, United 210 X Breakaway Brewing Company. October 11th, the Hybrid School of Wrestling in Lytle, Texas. We have October 17th, United 210. October 18th, the Hybrid School of Wrestling again here in San Antonio. October 25th, GCWA in Corpus Christi. And October 29th, another Hybrid School of Wrestling at Buffalo Wild Wings, Wings and Wrestling. So that's the month. I always post my monthly schedule at the beginning of every month. So if you don't want to miss a booking of mine, or you don't want to miss an appearance of Brock Ali, make sure you go follow me on Instagram at @akidcalledali, or just look up Brock Ali. It'll probably pop up. But yeah, thank you so much.
All right, awesome. So for those who are watching, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or on Apple Podcasts, thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you so much for having you on, Brock. And we will be on to the next one.